of the most important, powerful, and fundamental exercises that we do in the Thunder Wizard path. And that is ritual. And we do ritual in the sense of being very specific. So, when you've looked at and now have an idea of where all the worlds are in the eight-sided sacred veg, then what you want to do is you want to decide which realm you want to contact. So you may already know which realm you want to contact, which deity you want to contact, and for what reasons. But let's say you don't. Let's say you're just starting out and you have no idea. You know that you want to get this process started, and you want to connect with the deities and the spirits of your ancestors, but you don't know what to do. So what I suggest is this. I suggest first thing that you do is deal with the northwest. Now I'm looking at it over there because this is my sacred space and northwest is over there. So find out where northwest is, okay? And then what you're going to do is make a ritual, an offering to the Light Elves. The Light Elves are ancestral energy. Ancestral in the sense of the ancestors who continue to teach our spiritual tradition. So you're going to connect with them, and you're going to do a sacrifice, and you're going to ask them to teach you. So let me talk to you about it very generally, and then I'm going to go into how to set up your altar. What you want to do is get a chair like this. If you want to sit on the floor, you can go ahead and sit on the floor, get some pillows, whatever you want to do. Now you're going to need some materials for the altar, for the offering. The materials consist of 5 different things, and these things I've chosen represent the 5 elements. Now what you're going to do is you're going to learn what the 5 elements do. You know, it's nice that they're out there, but how does it serve me shamanically, magically? Well, the universe is created externally with energy, but this energy has to conform to one of 5 separate laws. And these laws are the elements. And I talk about this in depth in some of the other videos, but very briefly what it means is you've got 5 elements. You've got Atham, you've got fire, you've got earth, you've got wind, and water. These are the 5 elements that create the universe. And so you're going to take symbols that actually function within these 5 laws, and you're going to, with those 5 elements, give them as offerings to the ancestors. And the reason we do this is that whatever deity that you're sacrificing to or doing a ritual for can take these 5 elements and create with them. So it's a gift, you know. When you go to them, you're giving them power. And they're going to take this power and use it for your benefit. They're going to use it to connect with you, to manifest to you in whatever way you want. So that's what we're going to do. So here are the 5 things that I want you to get. I want you to get incense. Okay, that's Atham. Next thing I want you to get is a candle. That's fire. Then I want you to get 2 small bowls. The better looking they are, it doesn't matter, but really for your subconscious, the better that they look to you, that works out better. So you're going to have 2 bowls. And 1 bowl on the right, you're going to put some raisins and some nuts, maybe some candy, chocolate, something like that. This represents earth. And you don't have to put a lot, you just put a few, just a tiny little handful. And then in the bowl on the left, you're going to put water. And this is water you're going to drink, so make sure it's clean water. And then the last thing is going to be your musical instrument. And again, if you're not musical, it doesn't matter. You can use a bell or a shaker, something that represents music. And the musical instrument represents the element of wind. So those are the 5 elements, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to arrange them for your ritual. What you see here is the altar setup with your offerings. At the top, you have the incense. In the middle, you have the candle. To the right, you have a small bowl with a little bit of food in it, representing earth. To the left, you have water. And then beneath it, you have your musical instrument. I have a flute there. I know it doesn't look like one, but that's a flute. So that's my setup. And this represents the 5 elements. And it goes in a clockwise fashion, and I'll explain it to you. At the top, you have incense, which is Atham. Atham is the first element which allows the other elements to manifest. The next element that is created is fire, and that is the candle. And then the next thing that is created, going again, this is in a clockwise fashion, is the earth. And then continuing clockwise, you have the musical instrument, which is air. And then continuing clockwise, you have water. Those are the 5 elements. And you use these 5 elements to empower your deity or whatever it is that you're wishing to connect with, and to empower your ritual. Now you have your altar set up with your 5 elements, your offerings to the ancestors. And I'm going to give you a basic outline. Of course, you're free to experiment, but this is what has worked best for me. I like to sit in a chair, so I get myself a chair, and I sit my chair up facing in the northwest. Now, if you have looked on the website, you see that I have the Atham exercises, the breath and energy exercises of the 5 elements. If you are capable, I strongly recommend that you do those exercises in the order that I have on the website. Get the energy flowing through you, okay? And then, if you choose not to do that, then the first thing you want to do is you want to begin your ceremony. So, standing in your 8-sided sacred space, facing the north, you open up your circle. Now, you can do any number of physical gestures that will work. If you're familiar with hammer hallowing, that'll work. I have one that I like to do, which works very well for me, which is I open up the 3 centers of Odin. So what I do is I take my right hand, I take the fingertips of my right hand, facing north. I touch my forehead, I say Odin. I touch my navel, I say Vili. I touch my heart, I say Ve. And then I move clockwise to each of the 8 directions. And when I've finished with the 8th one, I have now opened up the circle. And the circle is now ready for my ritual. Then I have my chair set up facing northwest, because this particular ritual is for the ancestors, the Light Elves, but this can be done in any direction depending, whichever deity that you've chosen to work with. You just set up your chair and your altar facing in that particular direction. So once you've done that, then the first thing you do is you light the incense. So you do it in this order so that the elements are created in this order. You light the incense, and then you light the candle, then you go over and you say, I bless this food as a representation of earth, something like that. Basically, you just want to bring your attention to the earth element next, which is that bowl of nuts and fruit or candy. And then you come over and you acknowledge the musical instrument and you say, I enliven this musical instrument as a representation of the wind element. And then you move over to the water last and you say something to the effect of, I hallow this water, I enliven this water. Then when you've got all of those, you've brought attention to all 5 of the elements in that order, you then say something to the effect of, these 5 elements I give as an offering to fill in the blank. In this case, to the Light Elves, to the ancestors. Please, and then at this point, if you want, if you have something specific, a specific question, or you want to know something, then you simply state it. And you talk from the heart. Now, if you want to, you're more than free to write something out, make up a poem. If that makes you more comfortable, absolutely, that will help a great deal. But you don't have to do that. You can just sit and speak from the heart and ask whatever questions you have, whatever problems you have, you can throw it out there. Then what I do, so basically by doing that, I've stated my intention of why I'm doing the ritual, of why I am there.